So I've got some really cool vintage Seiko watches, and I want to talk about a couple of them today. This one is a 6139-6002, and I've also got a 6005 here to show side by side. These are kind of affectionately known as the Pogue within the Seiko community. Actually, only the one here on the left is a true Pogue. This one is just a similar reference. But they're really cool vintage watches from the 1970s, the early 70s, that have some very interesting history. Now, the nickname stems from Colonel William Pogue, who took his own 6139 into space on a Skylab mission in the early 70s. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this one, since this is the same reference that he took into space. Now, there's a few things that make this a true Pogue. I'll just kind of run down those quickly. But he has this this golden mustard sunburst color. This is the same reference of his own. And it says automatic under the Seiko branding up there at the 12 o'clock position. And then you'll see 17 jewels just below the hand stack. And then also the SUA factory symbol or stamp there just above your elapsed minute register. And then if you look on the left-hand portion of the dial, you'll see water 70 meter resist. So this is the same configuration of his own watch, which I'll drop in a picture here so you guys can see the two side by side. Colonel Pogue's, actually his internal rotating elapsed timer ring is faded. They're the same reference, but you can see his is a lot more aged, his rotating ring. Now, about 10 years ago, the watch that he used in space was put up for auction for charity and sold for about $6,000. I think if that were to sell today at auction, it would bring a far greater monetary value. These have really kind of jumped up in the past 5 or so years. They're becoming increasingly hard to find in original condition, and they're just really cool watches. So not only the fact that they were used, or at least the 6005 reference was used in space successfully, right alongside his NASA-issued Omega Speedmaster, but the watch just has a magic about it. I mean, if you look at it, and yeah, it's a little ridiculous when you think it has a mustard yellow sunburst dial with a Pepsi tachymeter ring, and the cushion bold case with the sharp kind of horns there at the top and bottom of the case with a recessed crown. It's just a very odd looking combination. I think it's very 70s. It's very Seiko, and that's what makes it really cool. So again, let me show the two side by side. This one is very, very similar, as you can see, but the text underneath the branding says chronograph automatic, and there is no water 70 meter resist over to the left hand portion of the dial. Let me show you guys the case backs here. You can tell the reference on when it was made by looking at the first two numbers. So this non-true Pogue was made in March of 1973, hence the 33. And let me show you this one here. This one was made, let's flip it over, in June of 1971, hence the 1 and the 6. So this reference was very close to Colonel Pogue's when his was made. His was in September of that year. So really cool little watches here. I like the case size. I like the fact that it's, you know, for a 41 millimeter sport watch, it's actually not too tall, and it just wears really nice on the wrist. I'll drop in some wrist shots here so you guys can see how it wears on my 7.25 inch wrist. It just has a really good feel about it. You can tell that these are very comfortable, practical, easy to use on a day-to-day basis. And that's what's really cool about Pogue's reference that went up for auction. As you can see, he didn't just use this on his NASA mission. He used this for an extended amount of years after, evidenced by his wear. The bracelet, it's not original to the reference that he purchased. You can tell that was probably replaced at some point, but he used and loved his watch. And that's the thing about these Pogues, or these 6139s. They just make for just great everyday wears. So in fact, because of the generosity of my friend Mike, who lent in all these cool old references, I had to go out and purchase my own. So this one I just picked up yesterday. This is my own 6139. I got a really nice example from a local friend of mine, a local Seiko fan as well. And mine is from, let's see here, December of 71, so same year as Colonel Pogue. And you can see it's in really good original shape. There is very little wear. I mean, we've got a big old chip here where the angular lug protrudes. That's kind of too bad. But other than that, it's in really good working order. Very clean, very, just very nice. Very, very nice. So let me show you how it works real quick. There you engage the chronograph. And you can start it and stop it just like any other chronograph. Let's reset it. Now we have an inner rotating ring that you operate by just moving the crown back and forward. We have a recessed crown there, so it hugs flush against the case. That's pretty cool. If I pull it out, I can adjust the time. And if I push it, I can advance the date. And if I push and hold, then it advances the day. So really cool. I've got a Spanish secondary date wheel there, blacked out date wheel. Check out that surround. I'm going to drop a macro shot here so you can see those little linear striations there on this date, the metal surround. That's really, really cool. So just a very functional, very awesome piece. I have it on this H-Link bracelet. I'll be getting an Uncle Seiko modern H-Link to put this on, and I'll do a little video on that when that arrives. But really cool watch. Big shout out to Mike for lending in these two, which made me purchase this one. Just absolutely love this watch. So anyways, guys, if you have any questions, please let me know. Reach out to me. I'm more than happy to try and help. I appreciate you taking the time to watch, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.